Hey y'all, it's racing day, so loud out here I can't hear a thing. Man, the fans are going wild. And these drivers came to rock, and no place else but Fox knows how to do it NASCAR style.
Buggity, buggity, buggity! Let's go racing, boys!
Hey now, here we go, race day. Don't you be going slow. Keep that pedal down on the floor. Push it till the crowd can't take no more. Big hair since the flag came down. Be here to the last lap around. Worked all week, it's time to play. Gonna get a little bit sideways. Hair since the flag came down. Be here to the last lap around. Worked all week, it's time to play. Gonna get a little bit sideways.
Hey race fans, it's Randy Orton Fan 2011, and I'm back here once again to bring you the regular season finale of the NNSCRA Cimorelli Bros vs. Host Series, and we're here in Boston, Massachusetts of New England, here at M&M Super Speedway for the final race of the regular season. So as we get closer and closer to the final race of the season, we got already 5 drivers. Actually, we already have 5 drivers who have clinched a spot in the final race that are Aaron Williams, Seth Cole, Jacob Lawler, Charles Jackson, and Dylan Poteet. So those guys can kind of rest easy a bit, as they already made a spot. They already clinched a spot into the final race. But for a bunch of other drivers, they're going to need a good finish right here to keep themselves in the hunt. And that's all I can say. Of course, for our Bros champion Aaron Williams, he can kind of take this one really easy because he's already clinched the Bros championship, so he can kind of like lay back. Hopefully not hope not to get in a wreck at least, but it's not really going to matter. He's already the Bros champion. But of course, in the hose standings, it's a lot tighter. Of course, all 20 of the hose are still eligible to make it into the final 10. They're still eligible to make it to the top 10. Others have a better chance of making it, others not so much. Of course, there are a couple of other drivers who probably will want a good finish, but let's get enough of that and let's take you to your starting lineup. That was your starting lineup. Caitlin Skipper will be starting on the pole, and if you haven't noticed, Caitlin Skipper actually was the hose points leader for I think the first 7 or 8 rounds. Then all of a sudden, she had a bunch of bottom 10 finishes, and she has just fallen off the face of the earth here, and she is now in danger of actually falling outside the top 10 in points at the most critical moment of the season. So we'll see if Caitlin Skipper, starting from the pole, can kind of make some noise here. Same thing goes for Trenton Dunham, who's outside the top 10 in the points in the Bros standings. We'll see if Trenton Dunham can come away with a big win here. Also in row 2, you got Barney Ward, and then you got Liam Ervig, who is pretty much dead last in the overall points standings. He's pretty much all but out of it at this point. All right, well, enough talk. Let's get the final race of the regular season in the NNSCRA Cimorelli Bros vs. Host Series underway. Here we go. The final race of the regular season in the NNSCRA Cimorelli Bros vs. Host Series. We'll be racing here for 12 laps here in New England. Looks like all cars will end up crossing the line right before will end up starting the race, and that's a good thing. And the pace car is fallen off, has lost the pace, which is very rare, but whatever. Oh, something's going on. Caitlin Skipper, she's decreasing her speed. Caitlin Skipper literally jumped the start. That is the most random thing I've ever seen, but now that has cost her starting all the way over there. Oh, there's contact between the 33 and the 83. We're going to take a look at our bird's eye view camera. This is probably the best view that we can get right here. Oh, now they're 3 and 4 wide in narrow parts of the racetrack. You gotta be careful. Oh, and now we got cars going on the apron. Got cars going on the apron. That is a random sight. Of course, NR 2003, the most random game you can find. And there goes Michael Norman. There goes Catherine Young and Seth Cole. And the yellow flag is out for the first time in this race. We'll get you back to the race to the start-finish line. Oh, there we go. There they go again. I think the more might have gotten involved in that second incident. Oh, there's Dylan Poteet. Dylan Poteet's going to head into the pit road. We see Sasha Johnson, Seth Cole, they're on pit road. So we're under the yellow flag for the first time in this race. Oh, there's Haley Hamilton. It looks like she might be done for this one. She's out of it now. See if any other cars. We saw Christine Wynn over there, Haley Hamilton, Dylan Poteet. He got spun around. I don't know if he took any damage. As we are under the yellow flag for the first time in this race, and trying to pick up who the leader is, and it is Ben Paul in the 4. Let's take a look. We'll put us under the yellow flag for the first time this race. Stay tuned. This will brings out yellow flag number 1 in the race. You see Red Bell, Catherine Young, and Michael Norman. They are going 3 wide, but they're in a very narrow part of the racetrack. Now, watch right here as Catherine Young is going to turn around Michael Norman, and Red Bell is going to get turned around by Seth Cole. And there you see James McLeod. He's also getting spun around. We saw a bunch of other drivers get into it around this area. Oh, Seth Cole comes back up the racetrack, and he goes just right in front of Christine Wynn. Right in front of the 11, and there goes the 9 and the 46, and oh, look at Seth Cole flip over. Seth Cole on his side, and Haley Hamilton and Sasha Johnson, looks like they are out of it now. Those two are pretty much out of it now, as well as Christine Wynn. We also saw Jacob Law took a hard hit now. Something happened with Dylan Poteet farther up ahead in the field. Let's pay attention right here to the 22. Let's see what happens right here. Trying to get a better view of it. Oh, Violet Fox. Violet Fox comes all the way down on Dylan Poteet, and then he just goes for a ride. I don't know what the hell Violet Fox was thinking, but she's probably lucky that that was more of a racing incident and not something that could cause a penalty. So Violet Fox gets away with one right there. Let's take it back to the race to the start-finish line. It was pretty close right around here at the line, but it would be Ben Paul who gets back to the line first, Liam Ervig second, Lisa Well in third, Tony Blazer in fourth, and Jake Rogers rounding out the top 5. We're not even 25% through this race, and we already got a couple drivers who are pretty much out of the running for the top 10 in their respective gender standings. So a tough break for some of those drivers, and we'll get right back to Green Flag Racing right after this. Stay tuned. We're back. KSRG, the one to go. Here comes a top 10 rundown. It is Ben Paul, currently the leader, Liam Ervig in second, Lisa Well in third, Tony Blazer fourth, and Jake Rogers rounds out the top 5. Trent Dunham's in 6th, Bianca Roberts 7th, Charles Jackson 8th, Mary Cole in 9th, and Barney Ward rounds out the top 10. Before we get back to the green flag, 5 cars of DNF are in the race. Jacob Lawler, Christine Wynn, Seth Cole, Sasha Johnson, and Haley Hamilton. Probably for Christine Wynn, Sasha Johnson, and Haley Hamilton, they are pretty much now out of it. But for Jacob Lawler and Seth Cole, probably not the kind of momentum they wanted to head into the final race. But they are in the final race already as the green flag is back out on the air for the restart on lap 6. Again, we're going to be switching around our bird's eye view camera, cycling through the cars. Going to try to make sure that all cars stay intact. Of course, you see the strategy by some drivers. Some of the strategies that we see here with Aaron Williams. He's already in the final race. Oh, look, Evan Gattuso. Evan Gattuso just fell off the face of the earth right there. And we see them again going around 3 and 4 wide on this pretty wide track. Uh-oh. Oh, there's a couple of cars. A couple of cars are towards that pit road wall that could have brought out the yellow flag in an instant. Again, a lot of position changing going on here around this race. We've already passed the halfway point now. We've already passed the halfway point, so now we got a lot of drivers switching positions. And there you see Maria Martinez going to lose a lot of positions as she got loose and went on the grass. Take a look what's going to happen back up towards the front. Ben Paul still the leader, and it's Lisa Well, Liam Ervig, and Jake Rogers who have pulled away just a little bit away from the 5th place car of Tony Blazer and the 6th place car of Sue McKenzie. Yellow flag still not out, which is a good thing. Everyone's starting to get back in check right around here. The racing has probably calmed down just a little bit. Ben Paul still with a commanding lead, but remember, the caution could come out at any time. There's James McLeod, he's well off the pace. Michael Norman trying to keep pace, and then we got all these other drivers. Remember, it's still pretty much a dogfight towards the end, but now we got the top, I think the top 10, yes, the top 10 are now single file. So we probably may not get any more action going on now, but now here we go. Lisa Well to the inside of her male counterpart Ben Paul for the lead, getting a full head of steam, and I think the yellow flag just came out. Oh, there's Courtney Jackson. Courtney Jackson and Catherine Young. This might be the end of the race right here. That wreck between Courtney Jackson and Catherine Young happened well towards the back of the pack, as we never even saw it. The car's already crossed the line, and Ben Paul is still credited as the leader. So I'm not sure if we are going to get a one-lap shootout, but let's hope so, as we are under the yellow flag for the second time in this race, so stay tuned. This is what brings up yellow flag number 2 in the race. Pay attention to the 29 and the 78 cars right here. Let's go back a little bit, and it looks like the 29 of Courtney Jackson is going to come down on the racetrack, and she's going to get into Catherine Young. Oh, and a hard hit right here by Courtney Jackson. Let's watch this in another angle. Oh, right by the little angle right there. Oh, that's a really hard hit for Courtney Jackson, and probably the season Courtney Jackson would really want to forget. That's all I can say. After a bunch of bad finishes, I think she only had like only one or two top 10s overall in the season, and a season to forget for Courtney Jackson. And Catherine Young, she just was in the middle of nowhere on that one. The cars did not get to the start-finish line before the yellow flag came out, so Ben Paul is still credited as the leader. And we're still kind of waiting on the ruling if we are going to get a one-lap shootout or not. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after this. Well, we're already on the final lap, but look at what happened to Lisa Well. Just fell off the face of the earth. She was running in the 2nd position at the time. Wow. A huge turn of events that have just happened right around here. Male counterpart Ben Paul still is credited as the leader, but that might have opened the door for Liam Ervig, depending on where everyone else ended up finishing. The lights are still on the pace car, the checkered flag is out, and Ben Paul will cross the start-finish line in 1st position. He will take home the checkered flag. Not much of a race I can say for this regular season finale, but well, this might have changed the complexity of the points now. Ben Paul in the most important race getting the victory here, and maybe a 2nd place finish by Liam Ervig could possibly get him close to a spot in the top 10. But I mean, I don't know. He's well too far behind in the points. But the race is over, and Ben Paul has won it. He has won the final race of the season, the TD Bank 400, as we get you to your official race results. Here's a look at your official race results. Congratulations to Ben Paul. He wins the TD Bank 400, and that's got to be a huge win for Ben Paul. That might just be enough to get him inside that top 10 in the Bro standings, as well as Liam Ervig with a 2nd place finish. Jake Rogers also comes away with a 3rd place finish, so Bros sweeping the podium, and then Tony Blazer, who ended up 4th. That's a lot of points right there for Tony Blazer. So you got a lot of those guys who didn't really make a lot of noise throughout the season. Now they've all of a sudden come alive, and that might be enough to get them inside the top 10. And Tony Blazer, Sue McKenzie, they are 4th and 5th. Charles Jackson, a great run for Charles Jackson with some momentum heading into the final race to end up 6th. Bianca Roberts 7th. Trent Dunham in 8th. Barney Ward in 9th. And Derek Henderson rounds the top 10. Go through 11th to 20th now. Aaron Bauman, Caitlin Skipper, Sophie Dillon, Rhett Yates, Dylan Young, Michelle Norman, Amy Roma, Mary Cole, Violet Fox, and Callum Wales. 21st to 30th now are Maya Clark, Wendy Gattuso, Red Bell, Richard Johnson, Maria Martinez, Evan Gattuso, Aaron Williams, Demarcus Brown, Dylan Poteet, and Michael Norman. Looks like 3 more cars ended up finishing the race is James McLeod, Catherine Young, and Lisa Well. Cassie Runyon's DNF'd with a random tire issue. I don't know how the hell that happens. And then another 6 cars DNF'd along with the 37. Courtney Jackson, Haley Hamilton, Sasha Johnson, Seth Cole, Christine Wynn, and Jacob Lawler. And before I forget, make it official. There we go. So you'll see everything come out alive in the points, and you will see which 10 drivers will end up making it into the final race of the season, which is the to determine the gender championship. Which gender is better at racing, bros or hoes? We'll find out later on. But that is the end of the regular season, and for those of you who are in the top 10 in the standings, which you will see later, congratulations on making the final race of the season. That is all. So that is it for the regular season here in the NNSCRA Cimorelli Bros vs. Host Series. The final race is within our reach, and of course it will determine the gender championship, and we still have to determine the host championship, and you will see that when you're in the standings with your name in yellow. So remember that. Alright guys, that's it. This is Randy Orton Fan 2011, signing off. I'm out.